This is a very, very special day to honor not only Millie, but the countless other women who served in World War II. My father was with the Army Air Corps, flew on a B-17, and the greatest generation is right here. The untold story, until recently, is that countless women served in the Army Air Corps and in our Air Forces in World War II. And so today we gather to honor them and to honor Millie for her service and for what they did for this nation in a time of great peril and what they did in fighting in World War II. You know, we heard about Rosie the Riveter a lot, and that's the female that comes to mind when we think about World War II. But again, the greatest story is that many women like Millie served and flew and were pilots in the Army Air Corps, in the Air Force in World War II. So we gather here today, it's a great day of celebration. It's relevant for me as a member of Congress to be here because we just recently passed the Congressional Gold Medal, which will be presented to Millie when they, and others, when they finally come up with what it's going to look like. But she'll be able to come to the White House and have that medal presented to her. And of course, Millie, when I first saw her today, she said, you know, this is all your fault. You put me in this position today. But it's really not my fault. It's really the Congress and the President. But it's a nation of gratitude, and it's the honor that we give you today. It's a debt of gratitude that we have as a great country for what you did over 50 years ago. And it's high time that we honor that today. So, with that, I want to go ahead and read to you the bill itself and what it says about the service that these great women who served in World War II, what they did for this nation. So with that, hopefully I won't need my reading glasses. Today we are gathered to honor Mildred Millie Dalrymple of Austin, Texas for your service in World War II as a member of the Women Airforce Service Pilots, or WASP. Legislation to award the Congressional Gold Medal to each of these brave women was passed by Congress and signed by the President on July 1st, 2009. And I was one of those proud members of Congress who voted for this. The WASP were the first women, thank you. The WASP were the first women in history to fly American military aircraft. They flew fighter, bomber, transport, and training aircraft in defense of America's freedom. And despite overwhelming cultural and gender bias against women in non-traditional roles, they overcame multiple injustices and inequities in order to serve their country. And through their actions, the WASP were eventually the catalyst for revolutionary reform in the integration of women pilots in the armed services. Due to a shortage of male pilots in World War II, Army General Hap Arnold, Chief of the Army Air Forces, called on women to serve. More than 25,000 American women applied for training, but only 1,830 were accepted and took the oath, and Millie was one of those. And exactly 1,074 of these trainees successfully completed the 21 to 27 weeks of Army Air Forces flight training, graduated, and received their Army Air Forces orders to report to their assigned airbase. Despite their service and requests made to the Congress by General Arnold, the WASP were not granted military status, meaning they were given no military honors or benefits. After the war ended, their records were sealed, this is an amazing story to me. They actually not only didn't recognize them or give them military status, but that they sealed the records that reflected that women served in the Air Force in World War II. It's time to unseal those records and honor Millie today. But those records were sealed, and they received few thank yous and were all but ignored in the history books. Well, that day has changed with this gold medal. And in 1977, 33 years after the WASP were disbanded, the Congress finally voted to give the WASP the veteran status they had earned. Actually, it should say in 1977. In the late 1970s, more than 30 years after the WASP flew in World War II, women were finally permitted to attend military pilot training in the United States. Amazing story. Thousands of women aviators flying support aircraft have benefited from the service of the WASP and followed in their footsteps and in Millie's footsteps. And in 1993, the WASP were once again referenced during congressional hearings regarding the contributions that women could make to the military, which eventually led to women being able to fly military fighter, bomber, and attack aircraft in combat. Hundreds of United States servicewomen, combat pilots have followed in the pioneering steps taken by the WASP and taken by Millie. And on December 7th, 1944, in a speech to the last graduating class of WASP, General Hap Arnold said, "You and more than 900 of your sisters have shown you can fly wingtip to wingtip with your brothers." And he said, "I salute you." And Millie, I salute you here today. He went on to say, this is in 1944, "We of the Army Air Force are proud of you. We will never forget our debt to you." And so on behalf of the United States House of Representatives, I would like to thank you, Millie, for your brave service to our country. And today we pay tribute to these brave women and ensure that their story will never, ever be forgotten. Thank you.
Everybody did everything they could in World War II. I didn't know what I did was important. None of us did. We just did what we could, and that's what I did. And now it suddenly becomes important. Anyway, thanks to all my friends for coming. I know that some of my relatives, some of the daughters of my, the daughters of my WASP friends, not here.
Sue is here.
And I was going to recognize them, but I can't find them. That's Sue. Her mother, Kay DeRezzo, was my very best friend. We were roommates, and we went to flying school together. And her husband was a Japanese prisoner, and mine had been killed. And so we were also grieving together while we went through WASP training. We both graduated.
You were a dear friend all her life.
And we lived next door to each other after we got retired and came to Austin. Anyway, there's somebody else. Is Susie here?
Susie Bain.
Susie Bain was coming. She was a classmate. You see, the reason that this is being honored to me is because I'm in his district.
Yes.
And I
You did vote for me, right?
Don't ask that. The other WASP lives across the river, and I invited her, and I don't see her. I guess she's a Democrat. Anyway, thank you all for coming. This is entirely what I was surprised to get. I mean, you know, I was just going to come up here and everybody handed me something. Thank you very much. You can help.
So we have the Air Force song. We'll sing it through one time for you. Join us if you know it. We'll do it 2 times total. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our die, starting a flame from under, off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame, we'll go down in flame, nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force. Off we go into the wild blue yonder.